Barry Tompkins with Al Bernstein. We're back at the Tingley Coliseum here on the State Fair campus. Well, I've been doing too much college basketball.
Yes, you have.
We're ready for our main event. Jose Luis Velarde and Michael Carbahal. Carbajal, as we said, fighting a non-title fight once again. He figures he can learn more in the ring against live competition than he can in the gym. And who are we to say he's wrong?
Olympic silver medalist Michael Carbajal always seemed destined for a professional world title.
Don't pay any attention to it. You know, it's boxing. You got to get hit sometimes, and you're going to get cut or bruised up. That's part of the game, and you know, it's just part of the game, and I don't pay any attention to it. I don't think I'm receiving any punishment or anything. It's just part of the game.
Part of a tough game as you look at Michael Carbajal, who's now made his way into the ring. He is the IBF light flyweight champion. He says he wants to move up in weight. And he's thinking about holding 3 titles. We talked to him about that this morning. He says that's his ultimate goal. Here's a look at Jose Luis Velarde. We talked about the fact that I'm a babyface guy from Culiacan, Mexico. And that, of course, is the home of Julio Cesar Chavez. He beat Julio Cesar Chavez's brother, as a matter of fact, earlier. He, too, fighting for the first time in the United States. And now let's talk about the keys.
Well, for Velarde, he's got to get past the jab of Carbajal. And when he gets inside, work both the body and the head. That's the way you beat Carbajal. But Carbajal will land a good uppercut on the inside, must land it. He has to stay off the ropes, Barry. He's gotten himself in trouble in recent fights doing that.
So that is the story, and we are just about set to get on with it then. We're going 10 rounds, and here's Michael Buffer.
Ladies and gentlemen, Top Rank Incorporated, in association with the undisputed, undefeated King of Beer, Budweiser, present the featured bout of the evening. This bout is sanctioned by the New Mexico State Athletic Commission, Chairman Jim Boggio, Vice Chairman Stan Gallup, Commissioners Louis Burke, Walter Brown, and Leo Martinez. Events Coordinator Max Albera, and Administrator David Stewart. Physicians at ringside, Dr. Alvin Chester and Dr. Stanford Bernardo. Timekeeper Terry McDowell. Counting for the knockdown seconds, Roger Smith. The scoring will be done on a 10-point must system by 3 judges, Jerry Hansen, Larry Chavez, and Rocky Burke. And now, ladies and gentlemen, from the Tingley Coliseum here in Albuquerque, New Mexico, let's get ready to rumble! 10 rounds of boxing in the light flyweight division. The referee for this bout is Mike Sanchez. Introducing first, fighting out of the red corner, wearing the black trunks with gold letters. He weighs 110 1/2 pounds. He's from Culiacan, Mexico, and brings a professional record of 19 victories with 11 KOs against 7 losses and 1 draw. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome Jose Luis Chapo Velarde. And his opponent fighting out of the blue corner, wearing the white trunks with red letters, weighing an even 110 pounds. He's from Phoenix, Arizona. This 1988 silver medalist from the Olympic Games was the first U.S. Olympian to win a world title in the pro ranks. He's undefeated with a record of 23-0 and 13 KOs. He holds the IBF light flyweight title not on the line tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, presenting the IBF light flyweight champion of the world, Las Manitas de Piedra, Michael Carbajal.
Bienvenidos a Albuquerque. Ahora si ustedes saben todas las reglas, ¿verdad? Vamos a tener una buena pelea. Que te vaya bien. Buena suerte.
Here's a look at Michael Carbajal. Little hands of stone, they call him. Kind of a play on Roberto Duran's nickname. And in the other corner, Jose Luis Velarde, who does not want for confidence. That's a very confident young man.
Anxious for this opportunity, and you have to feel that way if you're going to go up against a great boxer or a great team. You're talking about college basketball. You've seen so many teams go up against a team that the chances of them beating might not be great, but if you feel confidence from them, they got a shot.
Oftentimes, too, when you and I talk to the fighters the morning of a fight, as you look at the knockout ratio, talk to the fighters the morning of a fight, and you can pretty much tell who's going to give it a shot and who's not. And you really have the sense that Velarde is a guy who at least is going to show up.
Michael Carbajal, of course, our ESPN viewers have seen him a number of times. As an offensive boxing machine, he's good. He's really good. I mean, he's got every punch in the book and uses it. And the only chink in his armor has been of late. He's gotten a little busted up in a couple of his fights. Of course, you heard his comments on it. He said boxing is a game where you're going to get hit. And he has tended to lay on the ropes and let people come in and batter him a little bit.
Very quick, straight right hand, and that just got Velarde going backwards. Danny Carbajal, though, was quick to point out that he only been busted up twice.
Yeah, that's true. But, you know, the problem was he looked so good in winning the title and defending it several times that he set standards that maybe the standards were so high we shouldn't expect him to live up to them every time.
Danny was also quick to point out that he wasn't busted up by anyone's hands, but rather by their head.
Well, but he was also hit by Vasquez with a lot, Vargas with a lot of punches. Though there's some truth to what Danny says, a lot of that was elbows and heads, but the punches landed also.
Velarde doing what he told us, and that is keeping his space, keep going forward. It says Chapito on Velarde's trunks. Those of you who don't understand Spanish, that means Little Chapo.
My, we're the linguists tonight, aren't we? Very good. You made that up, didn't you? It flew right over my head. I hope our audience is hipper than I am. It's getting bad when I don't laugh at your jokes, you know?
That's right. They need company, believe me.
You're going to get a new guy, really. You need a new Ed McMahon to laugh at your jokes. There you are.
That's right. He's going to be out of work in another couple of weeks.
He could just sit right in here. Now there's the left hook downstairs by Velarde. We expect that kind of aggression from him if he can make it happen.
Pretty good first round for Michael Carbajal. Velarde just has not been able to get inside the Carbajal jab. Well, got him on the ropes there at the end of the round. We'll be back.
Michael Carbajal having an excellent first round, landing the jab, the straight right hand. And Velarde, a little tense in that first round, but he got through it.
Well, let's see what he can get on track here in the second round. Toward the end of the first round, he did manage to back Carbajal up and got him momentarily on the ropes. The numbers in the first round clearly in favor of Michael Carbajal.
And if you want a breakdown of those punches that Carbajal landed, 9 were jabs and 16 were power shots. And when I said Velarde had gotten through that first round, I meant it literally. To get through the first round against a champion and a guy that you know is a superb fighter and has power, even that can give you a little confidence and at least get you into the flow of the bout. But you know what Velarde is not doing, Barry, is getting inside against Carbajal. He's on the outside where... And if there's one criticism, again, of Carbajal, it's been that he is such a superb boxer from the outside. The theory is sometimes he allows himself to be lured into an inside fight when he doesn't need to.
Brings that right hand so quickly behind the jab as he did a moment ago.
They're anxious by the year's end to have Carbajal fight one of the champions, Humberto Gonzalez.
Yeah, they're just kind of waiting for his hands to heal before he has a problem with the hand. And they're really looking forward to that fight. That'd be a nice fight.
Excellent bout.
Carbajal just not allowing Velarde inside. Well, Velarde got there with a hook.
And the right hand. There's Michael laying against the ropes, countering well, but also getting hit.
This is Velarde's fight right here.
It's where he wants to be, fighting as close as he can to Carbahal and throwing lots of punches. Jabbing his way in, Velarde pretty well there.
It was short.
It's that half hook, half uppercut by Carbahal. He throws that punch well.
Looks like Velarde is there for the left hook, though. He has a tendency to drop the right hand just a little bit.
And I'll take Michael Carbahal has a very powerful left hook, and you notice he doubled it to the left hook to the body and the head. There's Velarde with his left hook.
A very good one. Velarde does look like he's got a little power in his left hand. Confidence building around for Velarde so far.
Yeah, I'm sure he's losing it. However, he's made some strides, and he's landed some pretty good shots against Carbahal.
Good shot by Carbahal there. Now it's Velarde on the ropes. For Velarde, despite the fact that Carbahal probably won it.
Yes, and you know what? As we go into Carbahal's corner, we're listening to Danny. He got a little more than he wanted in that round.
Give your fighter just one or two pieces of advice and make him remember that. Don't give him the whole store to remember.
And that is, next week we're going to hear from a guy, Jesse Reed, who's a master at that, working with Todd Foster. Michael Carbahal working with the hook downstairs and then coming with the straight right hand. That pushed Velarde against ropes. But you know what? Michael Carbahal really went after him against the ropes there, and Velarde withstood those punches and did a pretty good job of blocking.
Yes, he did, and he runs out to meet Carbahal for round 3. This is where Velarde wants to fight.
And it doesn't mean that Velarde's going to for sure win if he gets inside against Carbahal, but it does mean that he's given himself more than a chance. And there you see, and isn't it funny, we're talking about that round as if it was a confidence builder for Velarde, and despite those results, in a way it was, because he was able to get some things done and withstand what Carbahal threw at him.
Yeah, he got inside, certainly more than he did in the first round, and he did get at least one left hook that I remember in there pretty well.
Yeah, a couple that were quite good.
Your card, though, a shutout for Carbahal. It's hard to argue that.
Yeah, both rounds he's won, and the punch numbers will substantiate that. Good work downstairs by Carbahal.
I think Velarde himself felt that the only way he was going to win this fight was to get Michael Carbahal out of there. And I think that's his sole intent. I don't think he's gone in here thinking I'm going to win this on points. What a right hand by Carbahal. Notice how Carbahal turns his punches so much more than he did when he was a younger fighter.
Yeah, when I'm thinking of his first fight especially. I did that bout on the undercard of Duran and Barkley. And I remember he had a tough time in that fight with Will Grimsby. Nice right by Velarde. But now Carbahal is doing what you said. He is turning his punches better, getting much more power into those punches.
Clash of heads there, too.
And of course, that's what Carbahal and his brother Danny worry about in these non-title matches. Something that would happen like that. Carbahal turned and took the power away from that right that Velarde landed. But you have to give Jose Luis Velarde some credit, Barry, because he's hanging in there trying to be as offensive as he can, taking some punishment, but not giving up at all.
Well, I don't think he's really been hurt by Carbahal yet. He's been stunned perhaps a couple of times, but he's still there and still appears to have some power. Good counter left by Carbahal.
And I have to tell you something. Here's another one. Michael Carbahal so far has hit Velarde with some of his #1 power punches.
Yeah, he doesn't take too many backward steps.
No. These are the best power punches Carbahal can throw, or close to that.
There's another one.
That's a major league left hook. That did stun Velarde.
I was going to say, that did hurt him, I think.
But didn't knock him down. But here comes Velarde coming back. Well, you have to like what Michael Carbajal can do offensively. It's special.
Yeah, he's hitting some excellent shots. And Velarde seems to have slowed perhaps a step. It's over.
Here is Michael Carbajal landing, I mean, a good right and then a better left hook. And Velarde covering up against those ropes. But this man, Michael Carbajal, offensively has all you would want in the boxing. You know, they both have interesting, well, we'll take a look at the punches first. Michael Carbajal with that excellent percentage. And Velarde hanging in there. It's not a great percentage or anything, but landing his share at least. They both have interesting idols. Of course, Carbajal, Roberto Duran, and Velarde, Julio Cesar Chavez. Boy, there's a dream matchup if you could get both those guys in their prime. Duran and Chavez fight. Wouldn't that be like one of the best matches ever?
Unbelievable, yeah.
Now, there's Velarde doing a good thing, going downstairs. One of those was a little low, but it wasn't intended to be so, and he gets a warning from the referee. Going after Carbajal. The only way you're going to beat Michael Carbajal is this, going after him, but Carbajal turns the tables.
Yeah, he turned him nicely, and that's a real pro move. There you go. So Carbajal digging that right hand.
See, I think Carbajal likes this. And you get a great view here. He likes to be on the inside boxing, and that uppercut is the reason why. He likes it. Sometimes he takes more punishment than you'd want, but he enjoys doing this.
I think Velarde is slowed, and Carbajal showing great power in both hands now. And you can see Velarde is just pushing his punches now. Good left hand. Boy, he is hitting some shots, hasn't he?
You know, Michael Carbajal, some would say, makes fights exciting because he stands right in there with people. And yet, it's not like he's getting hit a lot. He's getting hit just enough to make it exciting, but not enough for him to be having any problems right now.
I think Velarde is getting close to being ready to go. He fought off the ropes there, but he just doesn't seem to have much anymore to me.
Velarde was shaking hands with Carbajal or something there, and he got nailed with a shot. And I'll tell you, their heads are coming very close to each other in those when they get inside. Well, the last time Michael Carbajal knocked anybody out was February of this past year against Macario Santos. He's had 4 straight decision wins. So he's not been knocking everybody out.
Coming to the end of round number 4 now. And Michael Carbajal really starting to administer something of a beating to Jose Luis Velarde.
Up here, the days run long. Sometimes the job is all uphill, but you keep on going. And once you've made it all the way to the top, the mountains will take your breath away and remind you there's no place you'd rather be than right here, right now.
We welcome you back to Albuquerque. We're at the State Fairgrounds here at the Tingley Coliseum. A reminder, Speed World comes your way, the NASCAR Winston 500 from Talladega. That's a race Dale Earnhardt has just owned. I think he's won it, is it 3 of the last 4 times they've held that race.
There you are. Well, he's a great racer.
That's coming up 2 o'clock Eastern time, live.
And there is the uppercut that Michael Carbajal has done so well with. Interesting, a counter left hook by Velarde. Didn't do a lot of damage, but I put that in my keys to victory because for Carbajal, the uppercut is such a big weapon. Is that swelling around the left eye of Michael Carbajal?
You know, I was just wondering the same thing.
I think
take a close look at that.
Maybe from a clash of heads.
Good left hand.
But Michael Carbajal, oh, Beautiful left hook. Wow.
Michael Carbajal, all business. There is a little swelling over the eye.
Carbahal has landed 69% of his power shots through 4 rounds. That's really good.
Going to the body now.
Barry, I think those body shots really slowed Velarde down in this round.
Really textbook stuff so far from Michael Carbajal.
You know, people are going to start saying to themselves, is Michael Carbajal's punching power as good as we thought? Because in the last 5 fights, counting this one, he has nailed people with big shots and they haven't gone. That doesn't mean his punching power isn't great. It could just be he's fighting tough guys. But in this case, Velarde, you look at him, Carbajal has thrown some excellent shots and has not hurt him that badly. Has not put him down yet. Which is not to say he won't. Oh, excellent left hook downstairs.
Took a left hand, but Velarde doesn't seem to have much power left.
You know, it was about the second round when you mentioned that you thought the left hook of Carbahal was going to be a key weapon, and boy, that has been the case. I mean, he has really landed that punch a lot.
And now, of course, the body shot's bringing that right hand down even more of Velarde's. He's really working the left hand right now.
Getting the jab in, the uppercut, the hook, everything with the left hand is working. And we expect to see some right hands pretty soon from Carbahal. And there he tried to throw it. But Velarde, give him a lot of credit. He's taking some major league shots from Carbahal. And coming back with his own, even though he's certainly not winning these rounds. Carbahal laying in again and hurt him with the right hand.
Yeah, I think he did. That time he really took about 2 or 3 steps backward. Trying to find some life in the legs is Velarde. Velarde right now looks like a beaten fighter. And a guy who's been coming forward all night is now going backward.
Well, the Carbahal jab is like firmly implanted on his forehead now. You have to enjoy watching Michael Carbahal box. Everything, just about everything he does offensively is excellent. And even defensively, you know, he covers up pretty well. Yes, he tends to get hit once in a while, but not that bad.
Coming to the end of round number 5, and this is not so much a question any longer of if, but when. We're in the corner of Michael Carbahal now. Get the end swell on that puffiness over the left eye. End swell, just really a piece of metal that's been immersed in ice.
Yeah, and it works very well. Good right hand by Carbahal on the inside. That's why when he gets on the inside like that, he can do some excellent work.
Meanwhile, in the corner of Jose Luis Velarde, I'm sure there's a little bit of desperation here. I'm not quite sure what kind of advice they can give to their man. Remember the keys to victory.
Well, for Velarde, he has not gotten past the jab, and in fact, 33 of 41 jabs in round 5 landed for Carbahal, and has not worked the body and head as much as he'd like. The uppercut for Carbahal has been a very, very big weapon, and as far as laying on the ropes, nada. Has not done it, Mark, for Carbahal.
In the 5th round, you could see the edge is growing. Velarde threw a lot of punches, but a lot of them obviously wild. Carbahal did everything right.
79% for a full round. A full 3 minutes has got to be close to a record, I would think. I don't know that we've had too much more. Maybe once or twice we've had a little bit more, but that's got to be close.
Well, his target is certainly slow.
Yeah, Velarde is not moving as much and not getting inside much at all on the outside where Carbahal can pot shot it. Well, a lot of people didn't think this would go to 6 rounds. God knows it practically has gone longer than all the fights we had earlier.
Yeah, the total rounds, I think, so far have come up to all the other fights. Wants to fight inside.
I think he feels like what you said, Barry, that he can put an end to this. See there, when you start banging your heads in there like that, that's what gives Danny Carbajal ulcers. from an offensive standpoint, is really slow. He's just not throwing too many punches. They are mostly arm punches. His hands are low. He's getting some jabs in there. And you know what Carbahal's doing really well here, Barry? He's going downstairs to the body.
The crowd is booing a little bit. I think really what they're booing is a lack of production from Velarde rather than booing Carbahal. Yeah,
Michael has, has done all he can. And Velarde, this is the first rest the guy's taken, so he's been tough there.
And they're not privy to the numbers, the punch profile numbers that we are. And any fighter takes 57 punches in a round. Took a couple right there, too.
It's a lot of punches.
Got to slow down a little bit. Actually, not a big crowd here in Albuquerque, but a good crowd. Really into it.
And actually, it filled out a bit after we got on the air. They're very into the match, and Albuquerque's always been a very good boxing town in any case.
So we head for the end of round number 6, and it's pretty hard to make a case for anyone in this fight with the exception of Michael Carbajal. Carbajal doing what he needs to do.
Pronto.
You should raise your left hand occasionally. Watch this. Carbajal nailing him with the right hand. But look at Barry. He doesn't move. Velarde does not move. That was wild. That's a good right hand Carbajal hitting with.
I think Velarde has really got very little left in the tank. And once again, we point out that Albuquerque at 5,000 feet.
Yeah.
Not the easiest chore.
It really is a good point.
Look at Carbajal through 6 rounds. Boy, 59% for the fight.
Excellent percentage. Obviously, anything hovering around 50 is excellent. And you get close to the 60 mark, you're doing well.
So a virtual shutout. I think he gave 1 round to Velarde, didn't he?
No. Total shutout.
I thought maybe he had 1 10.
Yeah, no, it was a total shutout. I didn't make any 10-8, though. I guess you could have. There were no knockdowns.
There's a right hand to Gordy Sager that time. Our cameraman.
He's been in danger on a couple of occasions, standing there in the air.
He's bigger than Velarde.
Gordy K.O. Sager.
That's right.
Isn't his nickname?
Gordy is our ace handheld cameraman. With us in Albuquerque. Made the long trek down from Las Vegas.
There's a great crew that comes with us from Vegas on all these Western matches. Showing you the double left hook. He has one of the best in the business, and he showed us a triple left hook a round or 2 ago. But you know what's really interesting is he's hitting Velarde like that replay we saw with some very big shots. He's just not going anywhere.
Yeah, Velarde is right there, a tough guy. There's a right hand by Velarde. First shot that he's had in a while. That was caught in the gloves.
You need to pressure Michael Carbajal to be effective against him, and Velarde has not been able to do that so well. When you allow Carbajal to do what he's doing right now, you're just not going to beat him because he's got all the punches from long range. You can see the jab, which is good. Look at that jab. It is landing at a terrific rate.
And there's 2 more. So headed for the end of round number 7, and round number 7 pretty much like round 6, round 5, round 4, round 3.
I don't want to be embarrassed by you. You are an all-purpose sports guy. You do everything here on ESPN. I don't want to be embarrassed by you in these baseball picks.
I buy a turkey farm. They call off Thanksgiving.
Who says vaudeville's dead, you know? Not around here, folks.
Meanwhile, we
keep that up. I'm going to do another impression, and I mean that.
We start the 8th round. Velarde in the black trunks, Carbahal in the white.
We've talked about Michael Carbajal's jabs. This is extraordinary. He's landed 145 of 283 jabs. That's 51%. Velarde has landed 47 out of 200, only 24%. So the Carbahal jab, as advertised before this bout, is part of what's winning for him. Well, while we're here in round 8, why don't we do what we often do when a boxer is well ahead and talk about something that future matchups. Gonzalez, for instance, against Carbahal.
I really like that fight. I think that's a very good test for Carbahal because Gonzalez is a guy that can bang, and I think if there's any concern coming out of this fight, it's that once again there was a little swelling over the left eye of Carbahal.
And that Michael Carbahal now for the 5th straight time isn't taking an opponent out. He's dominating the bout, and he certainly has looked good in all his recent matches. Even in the ones in which it's been close, he's shown good skills. But so would he knock a Gonzalez out? That's the question. And would he have to? Because Gonzalez would be pressuring him.
Scotty Olsen.
Another one that I think, he's going to fight it the aggressive style better than Velarde has here, much like Javier Vargas did back in March of this past year. So, in a performance, it's funny, only boxing, in a performance where Carbajal dominating and looking good, you start to ask negative questions. Velarde, though, is landing some shots here in round 8. This all feels to me like saying the Portland Trail Blazers don't play smart after they win 70 games or something.
That's true.
It feels a lot like that.
Yeah, it isn't meant by any stretch of the imagination as a criticism of Michael Carbajal. I just think there's some really interesting matchups at the lower weights. We've talked about that for a long time.
Yeah, we have, and I think we're getting about ready to see some of them. The Gonzalez and Carbajals, the Olsens, fighters of that ilk. His first Olsen is going to face Dave McCauley, trying to win that win the flyweight championship, and then Carbahal would presumably move up.
Well, assuming Dave McCauley wins the fight.
That's true. He's got to fight Rolando Blanco. And that is no cinch. Blanco's a very good fighter. The crowd not happy because I think they really would like to either see Carbahal take him out or Velarde really get totally back in the fight. Neither is happening.
I think Carbahal would like to see himself take him out, to tell you the truth. But Velarde just not cooperating.
Just tap him so you'll know it's still there. All right? Don't worry about it. You don't have to knock him out. You just kicking his ass.
It's a little hard to hear what Danny Carbahal is saying.
All right? I don't want you to hurt your right hand.
It'll be interesting to get the report card from Danny Carbahal on Michael. I'm sure we will.
He's very honest in his assessment.
Danny Carbahal, one of the bright young trainers around. I really do. A reminder that next week, Todd Foster will try to get things righted after a loss to Jimmy Paul, and he has drawn a pretty tough nut in Jeff Mayweather.
That should be a very entertaining match, and they almost have to have Todd Foster fight somebody of note because after the Jimmy Paul performance, which was not good, he needs to establish himself again.
You're looking at what appears to be a tired fighter in Jose Luis Velarde. Has not had a lot of snap in his punches for the last few rounds, but he comes out to meet Michael Carbahal for round number 9. He's taken a few shots, isn't he?
Yeah, and you talked about the fact that he took 57 in one round. He has taken an average of 44 punches have been landed against him per round. That's a lot.
And his punches now are almost exclusively arm punches. Carbahal still with a lot of snap. You got it a shutout.
Yeah, and you could make a case for 1 or 2 of those rounds being a 2-point round if you're inclined to do that without a knockdown. I generally don't. We're getting back to Bozeman, Montana just in time because I need another Montana State sweatshirt.
That's right. That's right. We did that. Went to the bookstore at Montana State.
That was why you were thinking of college campuses. That's why you said that here.
We had a good time in Bozeman, actually, the first time we were there.
Very delightful. There's the hook by Carbahal again, and it's tough to isolate and pinpoint one offensive thing that he does because he does so many. But the hook The left hand period has been excellent for him tonight, both the hook and the jab.
We have taken up the good folks of Montana's offer to go fishing, though, have we?
No, and that would be a good thing to do. Is that a subtle hint that some guy should offer some fishing trip?
You know, the last time I fished, I was 14. There weren't too many fishing holes in my neighborhood.
On the hill slopes of San Francisco. Well, Michael Carbajal continuing to do what he does, which is punch and land against Velarde. Velarde has hung in there. I mean, look, he's getting hit with good shots. Those are good hooks that Carbajal's throwing. Mentioned the jabs. I think Michael Carbajal really wanted to go the distance in this spot. It's not just been a terrifically tough match. He hasn't been hit that often, but been forced to go now what is looking like a possible distance fight. Nice combination.
Yes.
We have some unconfirmed reports, if you will, from around the corner of Carbajal that maybe his right hand is hurt.
And that would not be good.
We overheard Danny Carbajal saying that.
Well, you had said that he was going almost exclusively left hand. Now we'll have to keep an eye on it. 3 left hands there.
You know, it's funny. It didn't occur to me that the right hand would be hurt because he did throw it early in the fight, but obviously it has not been thrown much lately.
So we come to the end of the round, and we'll be back.
Here's Velarde having a couple of good moments, landing the left hand in there. And, of course, we talked about the fact that Michael Carbajal is not throwing the right so much. And, boy, you know, he really looks like he's probably hurt it.
Yeah, we're going to have to find out about that. Still a little swelling over the left eye. That hasn't gotten appreciably worse, though, in the last 3 or 4 rounds. Last-minute advice from Dan Carbajal. And we start the 10th and final round, which could fall into the Who to Thunk It area. Velarde trying to jump on Carbajal.
Now, you wonder if Velarde is aware of the fact that that right hand is hurt. He hasn't seen the punch much. He's obviously more perceptive than you and I.
Yeah, that's true. Well, clearly he's going to have to knock Carbajal out to win the fight. Carbajal is going almost exclusive left hand here.
Interesting. And now you really get the sense of that right being hurt because he hasn't thrown it at all. I think up until maybe a couple of rounds ago, he was throwing that punch still to a point. And that's part of the reason why we weren't keenly aware of it. And Carbajal feinting with the right. There he threw it.
He pushed it, though.
Yeah. Doing just enough to make him think maybe that right hand is a weapon.
I really wonder if in the heat of battle you would even notice, to tell you the truth.
I have to tell you when I think he hurt the right hand. We showed that replay. It was before about the 6th or 7th round, maybe the 8th, when Carbajal landed that huge right hand to the head of Velarde, and Velarde didn't move. I wonder if that's not the point where he hurt it. Because it kind of went off his forehead.
Carbajal has thrown exactly 1 right hand in this round so far, and there's another one.
Just enough to keep the pressure off and make Velarde think that he can throw it.
There's 2 right hands, but they are just pity passes. That one wasn't.
And I think he threw those so he could feint with it and then throw the left hand. See, look, he's mostly using that jab.
Kind of a mixed review from the crowd here.
Well, of course, they're not aware of the hand being injured. Well, boxing is one of the sports where things like that would never be known to fans. But in some other sports, things like that become almost immediately known, even when you're at the arena.
Yeah, that's true. I actually did not, well, I don't think either one of us really noticed it until the last couple of rounds.
No, and that's really about the time when he stopped throwing it.
Right hand from Velarde, but a case of too little too late with 30 seconds left.
And now you start to ask yourself, how badly hurt could that right hand be? And will it be something that will prevent Carbajal from staying on his agenda and even something that will threaten him?
get a chance to talk to Michael Carbajal and to his brother and trainer Danny Carbajal, and this is over. Going with the assumption that he wins the fight, but I think that's a safe assumption. Pretty much a chorus of boos, but really I don't think there's a lot you can boo Michael Carbajal about in this fight, and it's over.
I think only because the fans wanted to see him knock Velarde out. But honestly, an excellent performance, especially in light of the fact that Carbajal's hand was hurt. Velarde kept trying. He did not give up in this match at all, but he just didn't have the horses to stay with Carbajal.
I think that's exactly right.
Michael!
And you look at Velarde, who went the distance. I don't know if that's a psychological win or not. I don't really feel in his mind it is.
Now, he wanted to do better than this. There are the totals. 60% landed by Michael Carbajal. And you know, if that right hand had been healthy, that 667 number would have jumped up. But I mean, 60% landed, and so many of them power shots. You can't criticize that at all.
No, absolutely not. Carbajal with a little bit of a look of concern on his face. And
he's not a happy camper. That right hand, they're taking the glove off right now of the right hand. And there's probably going to be some pain in there. Yeah, you can see it. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I think that is a look of, we got problems.
He would like to have come through unscathed in this match, and it looks like that was not to be the case.
All right, let's get the official word now with Michael Buffer.
Ladies and gentlemen, we go to the scorecards. Jerry Hansen scores the bout 100-90. Larry Chavez scores at 99-93, and Rocky Burke 100-89 for the winner by unanimous decision, and still undefeated, Las Manitas de Piedra, Michael Carbajal.
With his right hand immersed in a bucket of ice for the moment is a unanimous decision and an easy winner over Jose Luis Velarde.
It's the first week of spring training.
We welcome you back to the Tingley Coliseum here in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Our main event is over. You want to see a fighter's hand raised in victory, not immersed in a bucket of ice at the end of a fight, but that is the case for Michael Carbajal now, and we will find out exactly what the problem is as we head up to the center of the ring in Al Bernstein. Al?
Thank you, Barry. Yes, Michael Carbajal immediately put his hand in ice. What round would you say you hurt that hand in?
I think somewhere around the second or third, I'm not sure. And I tried to throw him later on, and it kept on, you know, it kept on feeling like a sprain, and I just couldn't throw it as hard as I could. I think if I had it, I would have been a lot better performance.
Well, I thought it was still an excellent performance. You landed 60% of your punches, but in the middle of that fight, you threw one huge right hand. He just stood there, and I was wondering why. Apparently because it was hurt.
Right, it just hurt it all the time I landed it. And I just want to say, Dora Price, who just passed away, God bless you and your family, and hope you guys are all right. And, you know, God bless you guys.
All right. Michael, this was a performance in which, while you suggested you weren't as happy with it as you might be, you managed to persevere. It's tough to come through problems like you did with your hand hurting you, but you were able to use the left hand exclusively and stay in there.
Yeah, I thought I used the left hand real good. I felt really good. I wasn't tired at all, and I just couldn't throw that right hand. If I had that right hand, I think I would have put him out.
All right, real quick scorecard, Danny.
Good. I mean, for a one-hand fight from 3 to 10th round, I mean, he showed movement and everything.
All right, congratulations. Good win for you, Michael. Michael Carbajal does get it done, even with one hand. He's a great champion. We'll be back to close it out.
I remember it felt like the hottest day of the year. I was all alone with the kids. Then it happened. The cooling went out.
Mommy, I'm hot!
I had to do something fast, and it had to be right. I called my